So a lot of the presentation is going to be taking care of yourself. And then we are also going to talk about how you can take care of coworkers and your employees. So, stress is natural. It's a very natural physical, mental reaction to life. In fact, some stress can even be good. It can help you cope with certain short-term situations. It can help trigger that fight or flight response, which helps with safety. And it can also improve your cognitive functions. Moderate levels of stress helps to strengthen some of the connections between different neurons in your brain, which is also why some people work better under stress. They work better under deadlines. However, high stress and uncertainty isn't necessarily a good thing, and that's what we're going to talk about and address today. COVID-19, it's been very high stress for every single person that I've talked to. It's been quite distressing and quite overpowering. So we're not going to just talk about COVID-19 today, but we also recognize that right now, stress is high for everyone. So prior to COVID, if an employee had a stressful day at work, they could typically go home, wind down, calm themselves down, and they'd return to work the next day feeling pretty refreshed. Now, it's difficult for any person to do that because your stress is high at work, it's high at home, it's high in the community, it's high with family, it's just high. And so again, we recognize it's even more important now to take care of yourself. It's also important to recognize that everyone reacts to stress differently. We're going to give some examples of that throughout this presentation. And if you remember anything, please know that everyone reacts to stress differently. So how you react or what works for you may not work for somebody else. Doesn't mean it can't, but it's just important to get different ideas, try certain things. It may not work the first time, it may not work the 5th time, but maybe that 6th time, it starts to decrease your stress level. So we want this presentation to be as fun and interactive as what we possibly can. We're going to have a couple questions throughout. We're going to have some demonstrations throughout. So prepare yourself. For the questions that we have for you, we just ask that you enter those into the chat box, just to kind of limit some of the background noise and everything for others here. So again, to help others, you have to first help yourself.
So our agenda for the meeting today is on the screen. So we're going to talk about where does stress come from and how does it affect you. Some common stress reactions and how people may react to stress and what they can do to help make that better the next time. Ways to manage your stress, and then how to help your family, coworkers, and employees. And at the end, we will also give some information to help you if you are having a hard time, where to call. So the first question that we want to ask you today is, would you prefer a beach or a forest? And everybody can make their answer in the chat box.
So some of the first stuff we're going to talk about is, where does stress come from? Essentially, any single event can induce stress. It's again important to remember some of the first things that we talked about is everyone reacts to stress differently. What causes stress for one individual may not cause stress for the next. Stress can come from 2 different places. It can come from inside your body and outside your body. So some examples of internal stress are going to be a poor self-body image, lack of sleep, common fears or uncertainties. When you're regularly hearing about natural disasters, about hurricanes, about tornadoes, terrorist attacks, and pandemics, that naturally is going to cause your stress level to rise, especially considering that you have no control of these events. Fears can also impact you on a more personal level, such as not being able or not feeling like you will be able to finish a project at work, not having enough money to pay your bills that month, or not having enough gas to get to a certain appointment. Your attitudes and perceptions also increase stress. So how you view a particular situation has a direct correlation on how much stress you're going to experience. The more negative you think, the more negative you're going to feel. A common example that I typically use is if I sit here and I think that my hand hurts, and I just consistently think my hand hurts, it's aching, my hand is hurting, my hand's going to start hurting. That's how powerful your brain and your mind and your thoughts are. That doesn't mean that if you have a broken bone that you can say it doesn't hurt and it's going to wipe the pain away, but it just, again, states how powerful your brain is. Additionally, those who feel more valued at work and feel like they're doing a good job and get some of that consistent feedback, they're going to naturally feel less stressed when faced with large upcoming projects or a big stressful situation. Unrealistic expectations are another big internal stressor. No one's perfect. We all make mistakes. And if you expect for yourself to do something perfect every single time, you're destined to feel more of that increased stress. So stress can also come from outside your body, such as bills or other financial stressors, work deadlines, different tasks that you have, household chores, social media, relationships, marriages, issues with your children, school, any of those major life events. It's also important to recognize that those happy events can also cause stress, such as bringing a baby home, getting a new job, being promoted, getting married. Any of those happy things definitely causes stress levels to rise. How does stress affect your body? We just learned that stress comes from everywhere. We're now going to learn how stress does affect your body. So we're going to start from the top down. So starting with your brain. Headaches are a very common symptom of stress. Many people refer to tension headaches. That typically is explained as pain behind your eyes, pain in your neck. Some people state that it almost feels like a tight band around your forehead. Some people may notice a change in their energy levels. They can exhibit more energy, whereas maybe some people have decreased energy. Some people find themselves wanting to sleep more, and some people find themselves with, again, that increased energy, and they're going from task to task to task to task. Changes in your emotions can occur. These can range anywhere from any emotion you can think of. Anger, irritability, worry, guilt, fear, sadness, happiness. Increase in crying is another common thing. A lot of people feel like they have more difficulty concentrating. You may find yourself trouble remembering certain things or feeling more confused. People experience a more difficult time relaxing, which can also negatively affect your sleep. Some people find themselves, again, sleeping too much, where some people find themselves not sleeping enough. We get the range of people who will typically sleep 6, 7, 8 hours a night, and all of a sudden they're sleeping 10 to 12. And then we also get the people who normally sleep 8 and they're sleeping about 3. People experience vivid dreams and even nightmares at times. People may experience elevated blood pressures and heart rates. This can then lead to an increased risk of high cholesterol and even heart attacks. Appetite is another large component that is affected by stress. Some people find themselves with a decreased appetite, which can lead to a weight loss. And then some people find themselves with an increased appetite, and that can lead to a weight gain. Stress eating is a common occurrence. Nausea, heartburn, diarrhea, stomach aches are also very frequent stress reactions. There's also a risk of type 2 diabetes. And during a stress response, your body naturally is going to produce glucose into your bloodstream. This can help, or this helps raise your blood sugars. This actually can be a good thing at times because it helps to provide that immediate boost to your energy levels, which again, at times in high stress is good, such as that fight or flight response. But when you receive too much glucose over too long of a period of time, your bodies may not be able to process that extra glucose, which then can lead to a diagnosis of type 2 diabetes. Stress also impacts the way food moves through your body, which can also diarrhea, constipation, other digestive issues are common. Bloating is a common occurrence. People may frequently complain of feeling just that bloated, that heavy feeling. Stress can also induce muscle spasms within your bowel, which can be pretty painful at times for others. Women may experience irregular or more painful menstrual cycles, and men may even experience a lower sperm count.
In conjunction with changes in energy levels, you may also notice that you have a difficult time relaxing and you don't find the same level of enjoyment out of hobbies. Where you once may have been excited about your monthly card class and now feels burdensome to you. Some may see an increase or a decrease in their appetite, where some may gravitate to chocolate. Others find themselves not as hungry during times of stress. Some physical symptoms can include headaches, stomach aches, other body aches. You may notice a decrease in your ability to concentrate. You may find yourself trouble remembering things and feelings more confused at times. When you're under stress, your muscles tend to tense up. To better protect themselves from energy, they should release when stress levels lower and you are able to relax. However, if you are consistently under stress, your muscles may not get that chance to relax, and it can lead to headaches, back and shoulder pain, and other general body aches. Stress helps to stimulate your body's natural immune response, which is great in short-term, immediate situations. It helps to heal wounds and fight off infection. Sorry, guys. In conjunction with the changes in your energy levels, some people like to exercise or listen to music to reduce stress. What is it that you guys do to release the stress that you have on a daily basis?
You know, I think it's important that there are some negative ways that people cope with stress, specifically drugs and alcohol. People use that as a coping mechanism. However, research has shown that this actually worsens some of those stress reactions that we just talked about. And also in regards to your immune system, stress hormones can actually weaken your immune system, which is why some of those individuals who experience chronic stress may be more susceptible to colds and flu, which is then makes it even more imperative that you are taking care of your stress levels and using your coping skills, especially since we are in the middle of a pandemic. So again, just very important to take care of yourself. So what are some good ways that you can help manage your stress? We also call these coping skills in the mental health world. We sometimes refer to them as tools in your toolbox. So what are some different things that people can do? This is where, again, we'd like you to be interactive. So as we're talking, if you have a certain coping skill that really works for you, please share it, because again, we can all learn from each other. And that's what makes this a beautiful community, is that we help each other. So a lot of the coping skills that we are going to talk about, they can be done anywhere. They can be done while you're driving. They can be done while you're at work in your office, laying in bed. There are a couple of things that you can't be doing anywhere, but a lot of the things that we're going to talk about, you can. So one of the first things, one of the most important things, is use your support system. parents, siblings, coworkers, bosses, church members, people who you can go to and just talk. You don't have to necessarily even talk about your problems or talk about what's going on. Sometimes it's just talking, and being around other people can help. I know that that's hard right now when we are supposed to socially distance, and we encourage you to socially distance, but picking up the phone, sending a text. I know I myself am really guilty at saying, okay, thinking of it when I'm driving, okay, when I get home, I'm going to send my friend Melissa this text. And then I don't do it because I get distracted and I get busy. But I think it's really important to make that commitment to do that and to check in on people.
Exercise is also a very big coping skill that we encourage. It releases endorphins, which can also be referred to as happy emotions. And when we say exercise, we don't mean go run a marathon or walk 50 miles. Exercise can be many different things. You can do chair stretches if you are chair bound or bed bound. You can lift your legs just to wake up those muscles in your legs. You can do finger taps like you're playing on the computer. You can do neck rolls. If you are wheelchair bound, but you can use your arms, you can do arm rolls. There are lots of things that are considered exercise that get your endorphins moving and help you to relieve that stress. It can simply be walking around the house if it's cold outside or snowing or raining. I've caught myself times needing to get those last few steps in for the day. So my kids look at me like I'm crazy walking around the house, but I tell them it's my goal for the day. If you're unable to do that, you can do the chair stretches, like I said. At nursing homes, they have lots of residents. That's how they get their exercise in for the day. You can be laying down, and even just sitting there thinking and doing some temple rolls will help you to reduce your stress. So what are types of things that you guys help to do? Maybe what type of exercises do you guys enjoy doing each day? If you want to answer in the chat box.
We're now going to talk about deep breathing. 4x4 breathing is something that is very simple and easy to do anywhere that you are. You inhale through your nose for a count of 4, hold your breath for a count of 4, exhale through your mouth for a count of 4, and then hold that for a count of 4. And then just repeat that cycle for, it could be 2 minutes, it could be 5 minutes, whatever you need to naturally release and lower your stress level. Practicing this daily, even when you're not stressed, has been found to help you master that skill. So whenever you are feeling stressed, your body naturally goes to it and you don't have to think about how you do it. Because again, the more you practice something, the more easy it is going to come to you. I now like to practice this. So if we can all just sit calmly, get comfortable in your chair, close your eyes, breathe in through your nose, hold, exhale through your mouth, hold, breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. And you can slowly bring awareness back to your body and slowly flutter your eyes open. Progressive muscle relaxation is another very useful tool that we recommend and encourage others to use. This is going to be a simple practice of tensing or tightening a certain muscle group, followed by a period of relaxation. Typically, you try to do each muscle group that you have. I typically start with my feet and work my way up. So whenever I'm working with my calves, I may try to point and straighten my legs and tighten my calf muscles. When I'm at my shoulders, I'm going to try to draw my shoulders up to my ears. I may clench a fist, tighten my ab muscles, and hold that for about anywhere from 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds. And then naturally let those muscle groups relax and really try to be in that moment. Whenever you're doing any of these coping skills, it's going to be natural for your mind to wander. It's going to be natural to hear certain sounds, because again, I can hear stuff outside and I can hear stuff outside my door. That's natural, but it's trying then to just bring your mind and your body back to what you are doing.
Proper nutrition is also a very good thing that helps you manage your stress. So you need to eat well, drink plenty of water, limit your caffeine and sugar intake. Have a goal of drinking half of your body weight in water. I know a lot of people have the jugs that says drink this much by 10, 11. If that's what helps you, mark a milk jug if you don't want to buy one. But I know that's how I keep track of my water intake. Trying to get around 6 to 8 hours of sleep each night is also a very big thing that helps your mind just reset itself. Some suggested foods and how they help you. Dark chocolate increases your serotonin. If you have a test coming up or a presentation or anything like that, eat some sweet potatoes. Oranges increase your immune system, which we all need to increase that at this time. And it also helps break down your cortisol. Dried apricots, nuts, and spinach have magnesium that will act as a muscle relaxer. Eat some turkey. Drink milk for the calcium. Avocados increase your potassium and help lower your that helps lower your blood pressure. And then eating rice or oats, those are very good for your body. You can take ginger juice for nausea, and then peppermints also help to soothe your stomach.
So it's also important to just be kind to yourself. In the beginning, we talked about unrealistic expectations. No one's perfect. So give yourself grace. Give yourself that it's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to not know an answer. Encourage yourself rather than criticize yourself. I think, again, it's very important for our mind to sometimes naturally go to that negative thinking, but just really trying to make an effort to think more positive. Some people find that having a positive statement is very impactful, something that's short, sweet, something to the point, something that's easy to remember. It could be, I'm going to get through this. It's all going to be okay. I can do this. Some people find that reciting the Serenity Prayer is very helpful and impactful to them as well. Do things that you enjoy. Taking a hot shower, call your friend, yoga. Yoga is a big thing for me. Maybe you are going to try to get up 15 minutes earlier, 10 minutes earlier, that you want to take time for meditation or just that quiet time. Starting a new book, journaling is very big. Increased light exposure is also very impactful at fighting off some of the symptoms of depression and anxiety. So if you can, open up your shades, even just stepping outside onto your front porch. Just feeling that sunlight is very helpful. Meditation is also a very big tool that we encourage. So we're going to practice some of those, which is where in the beginning we asked if you would prefer a beach or a forest. I think beach won, but forest had quite a few guesses in there too. So I think we're going to do both of them. We'll start with the beach though, the beach scene. Okay, if everyone, again, could sit quietly in your chair, get comfortable. You can close your eyes or you can choose to watch the scene unfold. That's probably my favorite one. So now we will do the forest. Personally, my meditation script, I also call it a safe place. Mine is a beach. I have been using that for many years, especially like if I'm laying in bed at night and I can't shut my mind off and go to sleep. So I will imagine myself walking on the beach. I will do much of that same script that was just watched. I've pretty much gotten my brain trained that the minute I start thinking of me walking on the beach and feeling and hearing and seeing all of those sights and sounds and smells, that I can typically fall asleep within about 2 to 3 minutes. The only time that this doesn't work for me is if I'm planning a beach vacation. Then it tends to amp me up a little bit. So I got to find something different within that time frame. But again, that's just finding what works for you. I've had some people do sitting in a porch swing. Some people in a certain room or a chair of your house or in your backyard. This can work for kids. I've had one kid who made up this make-believe land where he was king and all of the people were blue people. So, you know, it's whatever works for you. And then it's also important to be aware of your own limits. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say, I can't at this time. Know when it's time to put those social medias aside. Know when it's time to turn off the TV or to put down the book. Because sometimes too much is, even of a good thing, is too much. Develop your body awareness. Pay attention to your body. How does your body hold stress or react to stress? Learn some of those beginning signs so that you can kind of head off stress before it becomes problematic. A personal example for me is I will pop my knuckles. I'll pop my fingers. Once I start becoming aware of what I'm doing, then I really try to amp up my own personal coping skills so I can decrease my stress level. And I do thank you guys all for sharing in some of your personal coping skills that you use. I know that exercise is a big thing. Throw frisbees to your dogs, that is wonderful. I think pets are definitely a big coping skill for many, many people.
I'm going to talk about ways to recharge yourself. Acceptance, embrace the uncertainty that as an essential part of life, it requires ongoing practice to truly accept that we can't plan our way to everything. Acknowledge what you're feeling and give yourself permission to feel difficult feelings. It's okay to feel down. It's okay to feel happy. Just make sure that you acknowledge how you're feeling at that time. Research shows writing down what you're stressed about helps you move through your stress with just a little bit more ease. So I like to call that journaling, and it does really help. Control what you can. Some things that are within your control are your thoughts and your behaviors. Control your use of alcohol, tobacco, or any other substance use, and whether or not you use positive coping skills. Zoom in on what's good. Our brain's natural negativity bias means that when faced with uncertainty, we're more likely to think about what might go wrong more than what might go right. It's also natural to feel fear about the future. To counter the tendency to focus on the negative, it is encouraged to write down 3 things that you're grateful for within the uncertainty. Research shows that simply starting to think about something you're grateful for releases serotonin, which gives you a mood boost, and dopamine, which encourages your brain to keep looking for these things to appreciate. What are some things that you guys are grateful for? And now's a great time to talk about that since Thanksgiving is coming up. You can enter those in the chat box if you would like. Reach out and be kind to someone. When you're stressed or worried, we often shut down and ruminate on our worries, not on other things. So we have to practice getting out of our head and connecting to others to feel supported. The best way to do this is intentional acts of kindness. Text a friend to check in. Smile and say thank you to the person who handed you your coffee at the coffee shop. Pause to chat with a colleague rather than rushing past them. Research shows that tiny positive interactions with others not only make us happier, but our brains release oxytocin when we do kind things like this, which makes us feel really good. Focus on the bigger why, the purpose of our efforts. The sense of meaning gives context to our stress. If you know why you're stressed, then it helps you to work through that. For example, if you're looking for a new job and feeling the stress of not knowing when you will find it, what it will be, think about why you are doing that search for a job. Will the new job help you share more of your strengths with other people? Or will it help you take better care of your family financially? Or if you didn't like your previous job and you like this one, it will help with the stress of, you know, I like to get up and go to my job rather than, God, I don't want to go to work today. Self-care, find comfort in your daily rituals. When you feel unsteady or uncertain, having a few tiny rituals you can count on is a big help. Your daily anchors need to be not complicated. Come up with daily anchors by asking yourself these questions. What helps me feel centered and steady? What gives me a moment of peace and comfort when there's a lot going on? Each morning when you wake up, jot down 1 or 2 daily anchors and make it a commitment to do them every single day. Take a few minutes to think about and write down your bigger why for what you are pursuing and use as your bridge of resilience when the uncertainty gets the better of you.
Sue, I really like that comment that you wrote in the chat box. Focusing on you're allowed to do something instead of you have to. I get to go to work versus I have to go to work. I get to get out of bed versus I have to get out of bed. I absolutely love that. Personally, and I wrote this in the chat box, one of my anchors, something that's very important to me is just silence. So on my drive to work in the morning, I turn off the radio and I just drive in silence. That helps me. Whereas some people crank up the radio and what works for them. So we're now going to talk about how you can be there for your family. One is be flexible, draw strength from others, be kind to each other, do your best to let go of some of those little irritating habits. Instead, focus on the good qualities, focus on what you love about them, tell them what you love about them. Let them know how resilient they are, even when things get tough. We also talked about giving grace to yourself, but it's important to give grace to others. Treat other people with that respect and dignity. Treat your family with that respect and dignity. Offer consistent emotional support and understanding. In difficult times, we all need more love, more support, more prayers. Remembering to be empathetic, compassionate, and patient with others. I think, again, in times of high stress, patience tends to be the first thing that decreases. Myself, if I'm getting my kids ready for bed, I get stressful on the time because it is 8:15 and we haven't done anything yet to prepare for bedtime, and bedtime's 8:30. And so my patience starts going. But if I work on decreasing my stress level, my patience improves and bedtime ritual goes so much more smoother. Communication is a big thing. Whereas we talked earlier about using your support systems, doing that phone call, sending that text message, it's very important to take time and talk to your loved ones. Acknowledge the problems, discuss it, and then move on. Be honest with your kids about certain stressful situations. Specifically this pandemic. Talk with your kids about the virus. Talk with them about how it can affect them, how it is affecting the community, the state, the rest of the world. Answer questions in a way that they can understand, keeping things short, simple. Ask them to ask questions. Tell them it's okay to ask questions. Listen non-judgmentally, and then respect that other person's privacy and confidentiality whenever they may share something with you. Review safety plans of the house, making sure that you have that backup plan ready to go. If there's a fire, where are you going to go? Again, hoping that the safety plans are never needed. That's the ultimate goal, right? Reassure your children that they are safe. Let them know that it's okay to be scared. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to be upset. Share with them how you handle your stress so they can learn from you. Maintain structures and routines. So maintaining those bedtimes, maintaining those certain meal times, even if we go to e-learning, trying to still keep them on that consistent schedule. Because that's going to help them feel as safe as what they possibly can. Be a good role model. Use your coping techniques and other people will learn from you. Provide help when needed. Again, have realistic expectations. accept people as they are. Tough times often make it much harder to do that or to do everyday activities like cleaning the house, paying bills, or feeding the dog. Some tips of what not to do. Don't tell someone to snap out of it or get over it. Don't ignore someone. Don't disagree or dismiss the other person's feelings. Sometimes people try to say positive things of, you don't seem that sick to me. You don't have it as bad as what I do. Those are just some things not to do that can make a person feel invalidated.
I'm going to talk about how you can be there for your coworkers. The average adult spends 1/3 of their adult life at work. So it's very common for your coworkers to become another family to you. With that, you may be one of the first people to notice changes in their behaviors or their mood. Some of the changes can be irritability, suddenly being late or later for work when they've always been on time or early. Are they appearing more tired than normal? Are they more upset at little bitty easy things and respond to people in a different manner? Have a conversation with your coworker, asking the simple question of, are you doing okay? Or how have you been? Can open the door for communication. But with that, you have to be ready for a potential response and be able to listen. There are so many times when I pass someone in the hallway and it's customary to say, hi, how are you today? And the next person responds with, good, how about yourself? As you have already passed in the hallway. I think it is important to make an intentional effort to stop what you are doing, as long as it's a safe option and time, and you have time, and give the individual your full attention. This simple practice can make a world of difference to someone. When you are preparing to have a conversation with a coworker you are worried about, it is important to consider what the response may be and how you will respond to that. You may want to ask yourself, can I be supportive, and how can I be supportive? Is now the right time? Can I be empathetic? Do we have enough time to devote to a conversation? Then sit down and think about and ask them, how can you help? Keep a calm voice and a listening ear.
So some key things that you can do to be there for your employees. Any of the things that we talked about, how you can be there for yourself, how you can be there for your coworkers. All of those things are going to be key on taking care and helping your employees. Some of the other things though that we really try to emphasize are use your EAP benefits, your employee assistance program. Most agencies here in DuBois County and the surrounding communities utilize EAP, which is paid therapy sessions at most of the counseling centers here in the community. If you suspect somebody on your team is going through a difficult time, trying to have that conversation and then encourage them and remind them that they have EAP benefits and encourage them to use that. NAMI, which is the National Alliance of Mental Illness, is a very valuable resource. It's a website that has different handouts and tip sheets that can be used for individuals who may have a family member suffering from any type of mental illness. It also has tip sheets for yourself. They do have support groups here in Jasper. I do think at this point everything is being held virtually because of social distancing and COVID, but I think that the plan in the future is to get back to in-person meetings. Mental health first aid is also a very big component that we recommend here. This is another great local resource. Unfortunately, classes have been suspended due to COVID, as this is not necessarily something that you can have on Zoom, but I'm hopeful that they will start having classes in the future. So this is a national alliance that teaches individuals about mental illness and what skills that some person can really work on increasing that they can use when speaking to someone in a mental health or substance crisis. But again, one of the most important things that you can do is encouraging people to talk. and then be available to them.
Some things that you can be watching for in coworkers or family members or friends are changes in their behaviors, their thoughts, feelings, or body symptoms. You may notice that you or your loved ones are no longer interested in activities that were previously enjoyed. You may notice increased sadness, anxiety, fear, irritability, and thoughts may be more negative than positive. Body changes can include aches and pains, fatigue, lack of energy. You may not feel like the person you were a month ago, or your loved one may not seem like the person they were a month ago. They may have trouble remembering, thinking, or making decisions. They might have more feelings of worry, feelings of self-blame, loss of self-esteem, change in their sleep pattern, stomach aches, indigestion, or a change in their habits. All of these can be signs of depression. And if you see that they are ongoing for that person, please talk to them and kind of see what you can help with. They might withdraw from loved ones where they're normally a very family-oriented person. They might have more poor self-care, not showering, eating appropriately, or simply doing their daily rituals such as brushing their teeth or hair. Feelings of hopelessness, that things are not going to get better. They might also have some feelings of guilt or worthlessness. They may have thoughts of self-harm, that you or they are not needed anymore. If you know that is true, please call 911 or come to the nearest emergency room if you think that they're having these thoughts and are experiencing thoughts of harming themselves. Don't ignore any of these symptoms, and please get help when it is needed.
These are various resources that are available within DuBois County, and even it's in DuBois County. I took off some of the surrounding counties. I first want to highlight the 24-hour helplines. The Memorial Hospital and LifeSprings, they offer 24-hour, 7-day-a-week assistance. It is going to be answered. They're going to go to an answering service, and then a therapist, a licensed therapist, will contact you back. Again, 3 a.m. on Christmas Eve, somebody is there to talk to you. There's also a crisis text line. So if somebody is feeling more comfortable on texting certain things and not calling, that's recognized and that's available to you. There are some outpatient therapy resources. Again, most of these are connected with EAP benefits, but these are all of the different resources within DuBois County, and I can confidently tell you that I would go to any single one of these agencies here. Are there any other additional questions? I thank you guys for joining us and interacting. That makes it so much better.